Why is it important for victims of sexual offences to come forward early?
Hello, my name is Kavita. I am a Deputy Public Prosecutor with the Attorney General's Chambers, and I have been prosecuting serious sexual crimes for the last 11 years.
Hi, I'm Tiffany. I'm a police psychologist with the Police Psychological Services Department under SPF, and I deal mostly with victim psychology work.
Hi, my name is DSP Manpreet Kaur, and I'm a Senior Investigation Officer with the Serious Sexual Crime Branch at CID. I basically investigate serious sexual crime cases.
It is important for the victims of these sexual offences to come forward as early as possible so that we can preserve the evidence as quickly and efficiently as possible. For example, the perpetrator may have left behind DNA evidence in terms of semen or hair. And of course, if there are injuries that are occasioned as a result of the offences, these would need to be documented as well.
I have to agree with what DPP Kavita just mentioned. The moment a case is reported, the evidence has to be gathered immediately.
That is of course not to say that in cases where the reporting is delayed or in cases of historical sexual offences, these will not have a successful result at the end of the day. At the end of the day, it really depends on the sufficiency of the evidence, and we have had cases in these circumstances where we've had successful prosecutions.
So as the burden of proof of all criminal cases has to be proven beyond reasonable doubt, it lies on the prosecution to build a case based on the thorough accumulation of all the necessary evidences. At some point during the statement recording process, the IOs may actually ask what appears to be intrusive questions. Just to be very clear, we are asking these intrusive questions is not a situation whereby we are imputing any responsibility on the victims for the crimes that actually occurred against them. So an example of an intrusive question could be something like an IO asking the victim, what was she or he wearing at the point of the incident? Why we ask this question is because knowing what the victim wore during the incident could allow us to check back against other objective evidence like CCTV footages. Another example of a possible intrusive question is asking the relationship between the victim and the alleged perpetrator. This is to allow us to understand the facts and circumstances leading to the incident. This will allow the IOs to make a better assessment of the case. So the victims can feel free to clarify with the IOs at any point of time during the statement recording process to ask, why are you asking certain questions?
Like Manpreet was saying, we do have to rely largely on the victim's evidence when it comes to trying to achieve a successful prosecution in court. The judge's assessment will be to see whether the victim is able to give evidence in a clear and coherent manner, and most importantly, in an unusually convincing manner.
You do recognize that the entire process of reporting, going through the investigation process, can actually be very traumatizing, and that's why all our sexual crime investigation officers go through this sensitivity training where our police psychologists teach these officers the safety, emotions and information framework or concept. And essentially this framework teaches the IOs how to interact with the victims and ask them questions in a way that's sensitive, in a way that meets all their different needs in accordance to the safety, emotions and information. The other measure that we also have in place in the Singapore Police Force is also this thing called the Victim Care Cadre Program. And under this program, we have volunteers known as victim care officers who provide emotional support to victims throughout this entire journey as well.
The One Safe Centre is a private facility that is housed within the Police Cantonment Complex, whereby the medical examiner would come down to the One Safe Centre and examine the victim of a sexual crime. It offers the victim complete privacy and convenience.
We try to create a conducive environment for the victim, and we do have a number of tools that we can use to make sure that the victim gives evidence in a clear and cohesive manner and uninterrupted by public scrutiny. For example, we can apply for a gag order which essentially prohibits the publication of any information leading to the victim's identity so that the victim feels protected. When it comes to the court process, what we also can do is we can apply for her evidence to be heard in camera, which essentially just means that the courtroom is closed such that members of public are not allowed to enter and she's able to give her evidence freely.